Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayuwa Mesale and we have Go Uti, the Afro lady in the house. You're looking very like an African queen something today.
Thank you. I'm trying to find my inner Erica Badu or Asha. I don't know which one it is, but
Erica
something.
Badu.
No, but it looks good.
Something, you know.
How have you been, no?
Babe.
Always zooming us.
I like Zoom. In fact, you know what? Today I was like, why didn't I just join on Zoom? But someone has been threatening both me and my child that they're going to eat our food. So I had to come in. That's all I'm saying. But you know, no.
But the food is available already.
It's been a long couple of days,
Yeah.
a long week. Just very long work days, I think is what it's been. And you know what you do? You just keep going. That's what you're paid to do, so you get on with it.
Way to go.
How about you, AC?
Pushing it, just like Uti said. I'm not talking too much. It's been a long day, honestly, to be candid. It's been a long day.
A day that would some aphrodisiac would do some good.
Oh, sorry, what?
Do not say alcohol. Say aphrodisiac. I don't know what you're talking about.
For some people, alcohol is aphrodisiac.
Well, there's that too. There's that too, actually.
All right, I don't know if we have Lami now, but Lami is supposed to join us via Zoom. So today we're talking, like we said as we said on Tuesday, we're going to continue the conversation from Tuesday, curbing corrupt practices in public sectors. And so, I mean, Uti raised the valid point on the role of citizens, right? The office of the citizen, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. And here's what we found as today's quote: "No country can be well governed unless its citizens as a body keep religiously before their minds that they are the guardians of the law and that the law officers are only the machineries for its execution, nothing more." That's from Mark Twain. So we're asking, can corrupt practices be eliminated in our public sectors? As I said, was our conversation on Tuesday, and we can't overemphasize the office of the citizen and the role they play in aiding corrupt practices. So on tonight's Ladies' Night Out, Uti, Lami, AC, and I will be discussing this. And when we open our phone lines as well, we'd love to hear what you have to say about it. But first, we'll do that. Let's take a break first to see what we found in the news. Stay with us. You're still watching Ways. Now, the World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought is a United Nations observance celebrated each year on the 17th of June. Its purpose is to raise awareness of the presence of desertification and drought, highlighting methods of preventing desertification and recovering from drought. Now, desertification affects topsoil, groundwater reserves, surface runoffs, human, animal, and plant population. Water scarcity in drylands limits the production of wood, crops, forage, and other services that ecosystems provide to our community. The most effective method by which the desertification of the soil can be controlled is by planting more and more trees. So if you can, by all means, be part of this mission to stop desertification and plant a tree. And of course, again, let's stop cutting down trees.
I listened to a video on Instagram on planting trees. If every individual in the world, just imagine each individual decides to plant a tree, that is going to actually, heal the world or heal the earth, basically. So he said,
climate change.
Yes, climate change. So I think his name is Sadhguru or something like that. And he said that he had to, mandate everybody around him to plant trees. And that was a way to heal the environment where they were actually staying.
Farm, we're planting trees.
So imagine each individual in Nigeria planting trees.
Planting trees. My children planted palm trees, we've been planting.
That's good. I mean, for me, when we think about it in a local context, we have a huge flooding issue, we have a huge erosion issue. All these things can be aided by making sure we have trees. So, people cut down trees. And we don't essentially have a culture here where you cut down one, you plant one, which is what it should be. As you take a tree down, you plant another one. So we all need to find some way, or our unique way, to contribute to the environment, because we only have one. We only have Earth. We only have one planet.
We don't have more than one. So let's preserve it.
So,
All right, so I'm going to start with Uti. Let's hear your story.
Okay.
I'd love for you to take 2 stories, actually.
Yes, I was just going to say that I'm going to take 2 stories, one in the northeast and one in the northwest. So the president, Muhammadu Buhari, has gone to Maiduguri today, so landed in Maiduguri at 10 a.m. this morning to oversee or to inspect the security apparatus there in terms of Boko Haram and everything that is happening over there. And apparently he's supposed to commission some projects as well, which includes a 10,000 housing estate to rehouse IDPs. So I'm sure by tomorrow more news will come out from there. But he was welcomed by the governor and the delegation. But I mean, that is now at least, sometimes you have to, I don't know, we take the little things, but you have to, at least the president is out and he's moving. We've seen him on the news. Little things. I know some people are rolling their eyes.
So let's do little wins.
Little wins, low-hanging fruit. But so to now move over to the northwest from the northeast. Sadly, in Kebbi, in a town called Yawuri, so it says that the bandits have abducted several female students from the federal government girls' college in Yawuri. So this is a unity school, and it was alleged that this afternoon, that bandits broke into the school dressed in police mufti. Now, this is alleged, of course, and pointed guns at the guards and asked for the girls' hostel. And they went in and they started to abduct these girls. According to the school authorities, bandits have taken several girls out of the schools, but the total number, I mean, we hear this all the time, and I get confused. You say the total number is unknown. In a school, do you not know how many students and how many, like day students and boarders? We should be able to tell. I mean, when you do a head count, you should be able to tell. But yeah, as it stands, we expect more details to come out.
Yeah, because it just broke.
It just happened this afternoon, actually.
Very, very sad.
It is. I mean,
when we were talking, crazy.
The more I try these days, a colleague of mine this morning told me that he was jogging on Freedom Way, and my reaction was like half madness.
Yes.
I said, "I'm sorry, are you a cat?" He says, what will he do? He can't live in fear. And sometimes, we all deal with things in different ways. Some people will go out and confront it. Me, I'm just like, I don't want to think about it. I just, as much as possible, just stay in my space.
Within your estate.
I'm
sorry, I can't
I mean, if possible, stay in my house. I'm that bad. Because when you think about, you hear so many stories about this insecurity issue and how bad it's getting. I think I shared the one yesterday about the lady and the bolt who was stabbed several times. I mean, it's really scary out there. We have to protect ourselves.
In all honesty, even that boat story of that lady that was assaulted by armed robbers while she was in a boat driver's car. I would, nothing can go past, even that boat guy might just be part of it. Them. Do you understand? Of course, he will take one for the team, he take a stab, it's fine. It might just be part of it. So now, even to enter a cab,
that's what I'm telling you. Just stay in your house.
I was watching the radio this morning, still on insecurity, and somebody was she said her intern actually got into one of these vehicles that they call One Chance, and you know, they pushed her out of the vehicle, and when she was talking on the radio, she was shaking. She was sad. I could actually feel her pain. I could actually see anything that has to do with insecurity right now. Like I said, from a mental space, I just want to, you know, block it out and, you know, try to move ahead, because it's crazy what we listen to on a daily basis, you know.
As well.
So
guard your mind jealously.
That's your story.
Still on things that are happening in Nigeria currently, and still has to do with the role of citizens. You know, we have actually, you know, thrown caution to the wind. Those that are supposed to be protecting the children are actually the ones exposing the children to harm's way. Now, in this context, I have a story which I saw on Instagram that had to do with a grandmother, you know, selling her child or granddaughter for 1,500 naira, so that anybody that wants to sleep with the child will come and sleep with the child. Jeez. Now, the key thing is not that it's selling. The age of that child is 7 years.
I can see your comment there. Jesus should just come.
In fact, it's time. It's time. It's so painful.
I agree.
It's time. Because how can a grandmother who is supposed to protect the child...
115. So is that the value of the child?
Oh my goodness. If you see the way the little girl was expressing herself, you could see
I
the
couldn't
pain.
Watch it. I couldn't watch
the video. You could see the pain in that child's voice. You could hear it. You could feel the pain. And when the man who actually caught them in the act asked, how old are you? She said, 7. And the way she said the 7, you could see that her innocence was gone. Now, if you look at this, do you think that that child will ever forgive her grandmother?
Is he forgiven?
Is it? I was just going to say
will she be normal?
that,
you know, because of the state of mind. Her state of mind, because like I started the story, those that are supposed to protect are the ones, you know, exposing the child. So it is so bad. And when we asked where her mother was or her parents were, I think she said they were in Lagos and she was living with her grandmother.
And her parents probably kept her with the grandmother for safety, for security. They're probably sending money home to her. Like, there's too many things to think about.
The evil that men do will live with them. It is also a man who was in the form of a Calabar boy or something that decided to sleep with that girl.
Oh.
A matured man.
He did, or he exposed. So who now exposed them?
Another man.
Okay.
And this happened in Enugu State. So
and you say, when we say, this is just plain evil. I
so
couldn't watch the video. I'm sorry.
I couldn't.
I just scrolled past.
It was so much.
All right. So 7 states have provided 19 livestock grazing reserves. That's from the minister. According to him, he says 7 states have set out 19 grazing reserves for implementation of the National Livestock Transformation Plan. That's the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Sambo Nanono, has said. Well, I don't know what to say about this, but I wanted to ask a question. So if the states are providing these reserves, is it going to be business for the states to generate revenue? Or are they giving it to these people based on the fact that, they are cattle rearers? Or are they treating it like it is going to be a business? That's the question I'd like to ask. So they said, I think the size of the land size is going to be about approximately 400,000 hectares.
Do we know which states these are?
The 10 states have not been revealed, you know. But he said 22 states and the Federal Capital Territory have registered for this program, and out of which 10 of them have already created their own teams, which have been trained by the federal office.
So this is more like creating ranches?
Yes.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes, they are creating the ranches, you know, providing the reserves, the grazing reserves. But I'm saying that how would the...
of course, the business of it, What model will it take?
Is it, you know, what model are they paying for the spaces and all of that, or are they going to be giving it to them for free because they are herders? The truth is, I mean, Elsie shared a story on, I think is it Allah, the owners of Dano Milk.
Yeah. So Allah setting up a dairy farm.
So I'm sure by the time that structure starts to run and they start to see the money in it, I mean, they'll begin to embrace grazing, because you are not only making money from the cow, you're also making money from milk and all of
the
that.
amount of time we've spent in recent times
On this
talking about cattle-related situations. Every time I see it, my response is like that of what I assume would be a 5-year-old child. I'm sure if I ask my son, that's what he'll probably say. Like, let's just not eat beef. So if cow, nobody's eating it. All waters will be fine. So I it's a overly simplistic view, I know, but when I think about it, I'm like, really, can we not just stop eating meat?
There's turkey. There's goat meat. There's fish.
So I don't know, but
all right. I would like to know the modus operandi. That's all I want to ask the minister.
Have they found the Gazette? Are they still looking for the Gazette on grazing? I wasn't going to say it, but I couldn't help myself.
This way. We'll take a break. We're talking corruption. Uti will answer that question by herself. Stay with us.
We're opening the phone lines.
Yes.
There has to be a decision point. The way your baby's presenting, we have to rush you in. And my partner at the time was like, "You going to cut her? Are you going to cut her? Is it going to leave a scar?" And I said, "Am I a belly dancer? What is the problem here?"
No, I'm vulnerable about the future of the children, the future of mine and the future of the generation of my children.
I want to have nude pictures taken. Of you? Yes, but without showing my private parts. I want to put it in my front room. And they said, "You can't do that. People will be embarrassed when they came into your house." I said, "Well, it's my body and it's my front room."
All the things that we do, what is the purpose of it?
I just realized that I was more trusting before I was 6.
So many women, they just feel like I have to cook for my husband, I have to breastfeed my children, I have to pick them from school.
Because society expects
Then you
them
go home and you cry and you stop your career, you can't do anything, then you blame everybody. You took that choice.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, Albert Einstein said, and I quote, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything." And the Office of the Citizen has a huge role to play as it pertains to curbing corrupt practices. Corruption is Nigeria's biggest challenge. It's clear to every citizen that the country has an extremely high level of corruption. Corruption is found in every sector of the society. Critical examination of both small and large sectors reveal corrupt practices at every level. So what is corruption? It's dishonest or fraudulent conduct by those in power, typically involving bribery. It is illegitimate use of power to benefit a private interest. Corruption is the offering of a bribe to an official so that the truth will be hidden. It involves the embezzlement of public funds for personal use and any act that is considered to be criminal in nature according to the law of a particular society. So, can there be corrupt public officials without corrupt citizens? That's the question. So please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So I'd like to come to Uti first because you're the one that brought a citizen on Tuesday. This is the part 2 that we're continuing. You brought the role of... Yeah, I had to. I don't have a choice. I have to bring you first because Isi was not here. Let's give her a soft landing. So you raised the very pertinent, and the truth is, I mean, when I looked at it, in all honesty, no matter how corrupt a government official is in a public sector, if I, the citizen, do not come and offer probably bribe and feed that corrupt nature, there will be no corruption.
Starve it out.
You starve it out, yes. There will be no corruption. So what exactly is the Office of the Citizen? And why did you even bring that up?
So my thought process, you know how I often think, is that, you know, we are so used to, let me not even say, culturally, we're now so used to blaming the government for everything. Whether it adds up, it doesn't add up, it's just easier to somehow circumvent it and bring it back to the government. And my argument is 2 wrongs don't make a right. So there are choices. We can decide who we are. So I think when we were talking on Tuesday, Elsie mentioned someone she knows who would never pay a bribe, who would rather pay a fine. And for me, that's where, because I realized that this thing that we call corruption, I used to say it funny enough a couple of years ago, that I believe that if we were to eradicate corruption in Nigeria today, maybe another 40 to 50% of Nigerians would have to leave Nigeria. Because what it would take, a lot of the money that is flowing through Nigeria today is flowing because of corruption. Look at how we pretty much shut down when the budgets haven't been passed, when after election ministers and things, cabinet haven't been nominated or assigned. All these things we grind to a halt because somebody essentially has turned off the tap. So it's going to take a while, even for us to fight this battle. It's not overnight. Like I keep saying, we're not unique in this corruption battle in the world. It is in a lot of countries that we class as gold standard or whatever. It's because there are checks and balances in place. The judiciary does its work. The legal system is functional. It's human nature. If you can get away with it, look at children. They will. So as a culture, we have normalized corruption. We've accepted it. We do things, and because we know there's a way around it, we do it. We know we shouldn't do it, but we do it. The other day I was at the traffic light, and the way the express has been demarcated, so you have to sort of go into the the side lane, extra lane if you're going to turn left. And this woman came round on the lane going straight and then just cut the corner there. And of course, there's the LASMA guys and the LCC guys. And the first thing she did was, and I'm like, excuse me.
But you knew what you were doing.
You knew what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing. But because we know that if we beg enough or, for a small fee, we know that we can get away with it. And we've normalized that as part of our culture. So let's not sit here and, I don't think the percentage of people that can say they've never ever done it in their entire lives, I'm sure it's a very minimal number because we've all done it. It's true, me myself, we have. But that's the fact. Now you don't even think, you have to stop and catch yourself to say, you know what, I actively will not do this. When I caught a bit of sense and I said, what are you doing? You wouldn't do this in another country, so why do it here?
This one where you're talking now about traffic, is something not justifiable because of traffic?
No,
is
that's the
fire.
thing. Everything is justifiable. Remember when we had that conversation about my truth, your truth? Everything is justifiable. I mean, I could sit here for 3 hours in this lane, or I could behave like the crazy bus drivers and try and go on the sand until you fall in the gutter. But these things, it's the truth. So when I started to think about that, we're exceptionally good at focusing on the problems. Where do we start to find the solutions? And I say, look, it almost feels like for us adults, it has passed. Forget it, where it's ingrained.
Dry fish.
But how do we start to look at grooming our young children to understand, to say, what does it actually mean to be a good citizen? Now, I've always said this, and funny enough, I didn't actually realize that it is actually defined in Nigeria, so I knew of it in other countries. But the responsibilities of a citizen is actually defined for us, and it lists how many things here, and I think it's about 7. So the obligations of a good citizen: civil responsibilities, respect for national symbols. Oh no, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Hang on, let me start from the beginning. First things first is obeying the law. That's number 1. The duties of a citizen in Nigeria, first is to obey the law. Shall you obey what in itself does not exist? But we must obey the law.
It's not enacted.
Protection of public property. Government, and so citizens are expected to protect government or public property from vandalization. We're expected to fight against misappropriation and corruption. Number 3, payment of taxes. We pay taxes in this country so that when we need to get something done in Alausa, they will, like you said, when you were trying to get a house, my taxes were up to date.
It's up to date.
So payment of taxes. Rendering of national service. So in an emergency, when was it that They
Youth
said they
service.
could call up youth service to fight war. So, yes, it's part of it. In any kind of emergency or during war, citizens are expected to come out and defend the integrity of the nation, like NYSC. Loyalty. Every citizen owes loyalty not to the government, but also to the community in which he resides and, of course, himself. Demonstrate allegiance to the nation. That one is dead on arrival. There's no allegiance right now. We have, like I said, we've cursed out Nigeria in every way possible. We have lost faith in Nigeria. 6, respect for others' rights. Duty of every citizen to expect the rights of others, not to interfere with others' rights to enjoy personal liberty. Cows. Moving on. I could go on and on.
You know what?
So-
I need you to pause. Let me come to Isi, because I hear Lami has joined us. I'll bring Lami in a minute. But you see, Isi, Uti touched on a very strong point when she said our generation were gone. Focus on the children. You are an educationist. Today, parents go to meet you as a teacher. Pass my child. They pay money, they do this. So how do you even begin to solve the problem? Because I do not even believe,
going far.
you know, I do not believe, because there are stories in the educational sector of high level of corrupt practices. Where a parent is just hell-bent on my child must pass and at all costs.
And the parent is dry fish.
No, but you already put in that culture in the child.
Let me explain something. There is a school that had what's it called, like election. Election, no.
In school.
In a school.
PTA.
Primary school. Let me land. So when they were doing this, parents were calling in from wherever, and they said, oh, send me the link, send me the link. They'll send it to Germany, send it to South Africa, send it to this, send it to that, so that their child will win. A parent actually, about 2 parents actually called the school owner in the middle of the night and said, come, madam, I've been with you since inception of this school. My child must be head girl. My child must get, the other one must get a post. So what do you do? What this is election within a primary school.
Wow.
Not to talk of Nigeria. Now the parent is the one doing this. What kind of values do you think such a parent is passing on to the child? Now, children learn through examples, imitation. Based on what they see, that's how they learn. Their greatest hero are their parents, their fathers, their mothers, their aunties, their teachers, basically. So it is what they see their parents, especially their mothers, do. That's what they will imbibe. Now, bearing this also in mind, do you think such a child will come up with the mindset that she would, or he or she would
do the right thing?
Do the right thing.
You know, I'll tell you a story. You know, my son was in school. I remember he was so upset. He was livid. So when I called, because I called him every time at 7 p.m., he said, you know what pissed him off the most, right, was the fact that the teacher was just there watching another child, what's it called, steal the answers from his notebook. And the teacher did not do anything. The teacher looked away. That was his anger. It was not that the child was copying an answer for a test.
Can I answer that question?
Right? But that the teacher looked away and the teacher did not do anything. He that is using his own head, tomorrow they will not say he did not pass. You know, so that was really upsetting for him. You know, but the next thing I told him, I said, you know what? Did you do the right thing?
Precisely.
Did you
That's
ensure
what
that you
matters.
did what you could do from your capacity? He said, yes. I said, then you're fine. Do you understand?
That's you then
You're
raising
fine.
him right.
Do you understand? You're fine. But you see, I'm just trying to tell you that even this generation you're talking about that are coming, right? I can bet you from primary school, from nursery school, some children are already as corrupt as an adult.
They need
So where do we even start from?
They need to work on the mindset of a lot of parents and individuals or citizens that we have in today's Nigeria.
Let me bring in Madam Lami, our lady lawyer. Hi, Lami.
Hello, Ua.
That we're no problem. We were looking forward to having you live in today, but it's fine. So, you know, we had this conversation on Tuesday, and it's like a continuation of the role of citizens, right? I mean, what's your own general opinion on, are we ready as citizens to actually stop corrupt practices?
Are we what?
Are we ready to stop corrupt practices?
We are not.
She's a lawyer, let her answer.
It's deeply ingrained in our culture, and I don't see any end in sight anytime soon.
Yep.
And I was watching with keen interest the way you guys were, ladies were analyzing it. And, like, true. From primary school. So when people say our own generation, we've lost hope. What about the new generation? Are we not forgetting that the old generation are going to pass values to the new generation? So are we saying Nigeria is a total lost cause or what? I don't see any end in sight. Honestly, I don't see any. So I was going to take Kuti on this issue on Tuesday when she was talking about vandalism and all that. And my take is that a country that has persistently neglected the role of education, you cannot sow mango and reap corn. This is what you sow, that you reap. And it's even going to degenerate because the quality of education has degenerated, standard of living has degenerated, quality of life is almost non-existent. So what about the children that are coming now? What is the hope for them? I don't see any hope inside because things are going down and down the line. So I don't see, I'm sorry to be a pessimist in this matter, but I don't see any hope inside.
It's the truth.
They are itching to talk.
No, I'm actually agreeing with you. So I'm just saying that you're speaking the truth because there's no end in sight. When we talk about what I'm hoping is, I use the herd immunity model to say if enough parents over time, we pass values down and at some point it will gather critical mass. I'm hoping. Because if you start to think about it from the perspective that there's no solution, it's even more depressing. When you love Nigeria, it is completely demoralizing. Yeah.
Do you think it takes just one leader to come in and a lot of things will change? If not totally, but probably a whole lot of things can change and things can begin to change gradually. Yeah. Do you think so?
So what I was just going to say was, now there are other elements. When we talked last on Tuesday, we talked about several different solutions. Of course, a lot of the things that we're seeing now, this insecurity, apart from the issues, the economy is a huge driver. If people are hungry, they get angry and things happen. So the reality of it is there are other factors that can aid this. We've all seen, the closest thing to a boom in recent memory was maybe 2007 when we cleared all the debt and, things were looking good. The telecom sector was the new generation banks. We saw the resurgence of the middle class and we saw what happened then. So many, Nigerians abroad. What did you say?
Was that when you moved back to Nigeria?
No, that wasn't when I moved back, but that was sort of...
when I moved back, because everything, there was so much hope inside.
Yeah.
The banned word in the UK then was relocation. Everybody wanted to relocate. Even companies were coming from Nigeria to recruit students in London, in the UK, and people were excited to go back. 2000, 2008, 2009, I could not wait to leave England because I was so happy to come to Nigeria, and things were better at that time.
Yeah, so I mean to add some context to it. When I came home, pound was still 248 or 250, 252 when I came home. So it's a far cry from 710 where we are today.
720.
720. Sorry.
I think just £1.
720.
So do you people think that this rise in corrupt practices that we're experiencing in public sector is only economical that is making that number spike? Because I don't understand why we keep on saying everybody is hungry.
Yes.
But we cannot all go mad, we cannot all do stupid things because we are all hungry, right?
Because you have food in your belly.
No, hold on, Uti.
Okay.
So it's not about having food in the belly. I think it also comes from a place of how your mind works.
Exactly.
Do you understand? How your mind works. Because no matter how hungry I am, Uti, and somebody drops a gun here and say, carry gun and go and rob.
Yeah.
I would think very hard of the consequences before I pick up. I would never do that. Do you understand? So I have the capacity. So maybe so much, I would agree with Lami on the role of education. I suppose just hunger, because it is bigger than hunger, what is causing it. But you know what else? I know you're itching to talk.
Yeah.
Isi, let us go on a
short break.
We'll just go out and come back. We'll be right back.
politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the result of tomorrow's election. You have it already, Abi.
I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say. The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, if you're just tuning in, it's our Ladies' Night Out, and we are focusing on our public sector and talking to ourselves as citizens. What's our role in aiding corrupt practices, and how can we eliminate these practices, right? Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone line is open now, but please, when you do calls, turn off the volume of your television set. Please turn it off so you can hear us and we can communicate, and try to keep your conversation within a minute. Before we went on a break, Issy was was itching. I was going to say itching was Issy. Issy was itching to jump in, you know. Okay. I'd like to hear your thoughts, then I'll come to Uti.
You know, I totally agree with you when you said the thing about, you know, mindset. So why am I saying this? The mindset of the individuals or the citizenry needs to change. That's number one. Then number two, back in the days in 1983, I remember when we had, yes.
Our history mother.
Yes. We had the present president, who was then the head of state. When he had Idi Agbon as his assistant as well, there was war against indiscipline. And what did you see there? We saw people line up without anybody shouting or fighting. Everybody lined up to get into a bus. Without there was no fight in any form or in any way. The citizenry had been what? Brainwashed. We had been, you know, our mindset has been molded in such a way that we were supposed to do things in a particular way.
Order. There was order.
There was order. So if we have that same system being put in place today in Nigeria, which has totally collapsed.
Beg their way out of it right now. That is why we've had so many of these different kick against indiscipline. I mean, all sorts of different uniforms and outfits running around. Look.
But they're not implementing it.
So I was going to say...
They're not implementing it.
I was going to say
everything
that because
is all about implementation
if you
and
listen to our quotes, right? It is not so... Yeah, you can come in. 1 minute, Lami.
As always said, I think part of the problem is no consequence for action.
Yes, no accountability. It's simple.
I was going to say that if you listen to our quote, the quote for today, it said that, see, the role is not so much of the enforcement officers, right? They are just machineries to execute, right? The real custodian of this, what's it called? The moral fabric, the real custodians are the people, right? Yes. They are the people. So it's not so much of your law enforcement officers and all of that. Because now, why I'm saying this is, as a lawyer now, Lami, for instance, I'm convicted and I go and meet the judge. I beg the judge that please now. Maybe the judge now finds out that I'm one uncle, sister, whatever. The case will just, you know, die a natural death. So even the law, right? Even the lawyers and the law itself is not so much cast in stone that it is, if you do A, you go to jail.
You're even going too far. And here's where I say that we have the bigger problem. We have normalized this thing. I was having a conversation with NASA a few weeks ago, and she was talking about a time in the UK. She got to the train station and realized that she'd forgotten her Oyster card behind. And she said she went up to the guy and she was begging. And the guy was looking at her like,
what's wrong with you?
I don't understand you.
Why are you begging? What's
Just
wrong?
Go back and go and get your
go and get it or go and buy a ticket. So in his mindset, in their culture,
there's no begging.
There's no begging.
I beg no day the culture.
But here, our first instinct is, you know what? I try it. I get away with it. First of all, there's a lack of enforcement. Even the enforcement officers, how many police officers do we have? What's the ratio to citizenry? So odds are you won't even get caught. Then for the one where you happen to do it in front and get caught, what's the next thing? Everything in Nigeria becomes discussion. You stand on the road, you talk, you look left, you look right, and that's what we get. So in saying all of this, I'm like, yes, we can talk about people, and you know, this is always my stance. We know right from wrong.
Exactly.
But our culture has told us that wrong works. Don't worry, you can get away with it. It's been normalized. So when we now start to talk about, we should make the right decisions, that's my line. I know. I believe that we should. And people can. We've made some, conscious effort to say, you know what, I'm not going to do this. Mine is more from the fact that I'm not patient. And the day somebody tells me I have one like you at home, it's going to go down. So let's not even get there, where you and I will have to. I like all my documents, all my paperwork, exactly, to be complete, so that we don't have to have conversations. The best we can do is Happy Sunday, and we keep it moving.
Oh my God!
I remember I went to CAC to get my business name done. I went into the office thinking that I was walking into a government parastatal that, they seemed a bit coordinated. At the end of the day, I left there very frustrated. So frustrated that I had to get someone else to do it at the end of the day after waiting for about almost 3 years. Why? Because I tried to do it by myself. The process has been made so cumbersome that you can't even do it as easy as it was supposed to be done in the first place.
You know what Uti said about begging? That is why a Danfo bus driver, he knows that he's supposed to be calm and stay in his lane. He would do the rigmarole, all in the name of, all in the name of I'm trying to rush to go and whatever. Now brush your car. The next thing, he will lie flat on the floor. Ejoma. Do you understand? Because we understand that thing.
That's
that
what
yes.
we're used to.
No. Let it sink well. We understand it. We know that when we beg, we'll get away with things. But let me hear Lami. Then we have some comments.
No, just a continuation of what you're saying, that there's a complete breakdown of rule of law.
Yes.
When people know that the people at the top don't get punished for whatever they do, so why would we, ordinary people, want to, do the right thing? And when we're talking about we as people, that we have the intuition to know what is right from wrong, I think it's innate for anybody to want to disobey the law. I think it's a universal thing. But the difference between us and the people in the Western world is the rule of law. So it is now deeply ingrained in the society that they do the right thing because of the fear of the repercussion. So it's now a part, so they don't have to make too much effort for people to do the right thing. Because right from primary school, right from nursery school, they are made to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
But here, we've always gotten away. I say children go to school at 9 o'clock, and it still bothers me. And they stroll on the road with their parents, and there's no sense of urgency. And I wonder what kind of adults are they going to grow up to be? My children, who are in the UK, if they don't go to school for 1 day, if they miss school for 1 day, we are made to pay £250.
Wow.
Yes, that's the law. So if you see the way my mom, if she see the way she is about school, even when they have dental or eye appointment or anything, they go after school. Except it's an emergency. They are not allowed. So I can't just pull them from school for no reason. I know there's a repercussion.
Yeah, just to
it's not normal.
Yeah, just to buttress what Lami is saying. There's a top lawyer in Nigeria today, top SAN, that I remember his daughter telling me that, there's a particular school in Ogun State, the boarding house, a Catholic school. They got to the door. The man was trying to do agidi. They told the man, turn back. Do you know that because of that thing, the child was expelled from that school because they came late? Do you understand? So every parent in that school, they know. They dare not go. They dare not go late. Do you understand?
Very good.
When you understand that there are laws and people stick to those laws, right? It doesn't change anything. And just to also add, my mom, she's going to kill me. every time she travels, my mother always has excess luggage. And you see this begging culture that you're talking about. You know, when you go to the airline, you go and be telling them, please, they'll be looking at you, okay, ma'am, that's the ticket, you know. So because of that, you know, she always has a way, but maybe because she's always getting away with it, because she will find somebody maybe that's in business class that has no luggage. She's always lucky to find somebody that would help her carry all her excess luggages. So she will continue to do it. I keep telling her, Mommy, why do you keep doing this all the time?
Experience. I went to the UK some few years back, and my mom was giving me different items. Give this to my friend, give this to my sister. And I was, you know, I couldn't say no to her. And I did not weigh my luggage before I left. I just assumed that they would, you know, I would find my way at the airport. And I was my last daughter. By the time I got to the airport and they weighed, I think I was like 6 kg overweight. Do you know what they made me do?
Remove
I
it.
threw away all those items. They were watching me. I thought it was a joke.
So some will not even tell you to pay the excess. You just throw it away.
Yeah. Because there they have laws that say they can't carry it.
There was no emotion. They didn't. They're like, you throw it away. They're waiting that they're going to close the counter. They're not joking with me. I thought it was a joke.
It's not a joke.
I saw them, when I saw them, you know, trying to close the counter, I started to speak.
You knew it was serious.
So my next trip, I told her, please.
Don't give me anything.
Mommy, I beg you in the name of God, don't try it again.
Let's take some comments.
Okay, so this one is from Ade. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We haven't had a comment in a while. So good evening, ladies. Good to be live on Ways after a while. Good to have you back. Corruption is an act of indiscipline. This applies to individuals and all sectors of life in the country. But our leaders should set a good example to follow. Our PMB is corrupt by virtue of his veto power and tribal political appointments. This has led to weaknesses in governance and insecurity in the country. Even our electoral malpractices is another example.
Okay, so we have another comment. It says, the day anything public is considered as a personal benefit to all, the change we all desire begins to happen. When anything public is seen as personal benefit to all. It's a water in fire trucks, for example, appropriate welfare to all law enforcement agencies to be able to care for the citizens. Okay, so let's talk about, you see, because everything is still going back to economics. I mean, this comment is going back to economics. So is there a justification because I don't have money in my pocket for me to become corrupt and, you know, just to make ends meet and take care of my family? Because this has always been the justification that we give even to our political leaders, that we excuse them embezzling funds that was meant to take care of the larger populace. You know, one person, I mean, see that video. Like, I can't get over that video that went viral of money rotting. This money that would have saved lives, you know, wasting away. So is there an excuse for that? Okay, if we say, okay, money, let's even keep money aside. In the hospitals, where the government will tell you that these are free in government hospitals, you go there, they will still mandate you to pay things. Do you understand? So who are we deceiving? There's no excuse as far as I'm concerned. But let me take Emmanuel from Jigawa State. Wow, Jigawa State. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for calling, Emmanuel. Let's hear what you have to say.
Okay, this of the matter is that every society. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Every society derives of it. It derives
Oh, sorry, Jigawa. I said Jigawa. Emmanuel, sorry, we'll have to cut you off. I can't hear you. I can't hear. I'm so sorry. If you can try to call back, I think maybe it's the network. And Jigawa, that was our first call from Jigawa. Yeah. Okay, so Isi, let's hear your comments. Then I'll come to Lami.
Okay, this is, good evening. This is from Benson, and he says, good evening, ladies, all looking beautiful. Thank you, Benson. The blocks, the build, the public sector is fundamentally from the root. Family. Before society, then public. I'm trying to understand what he's trying to say.
The blocks that build the public sector, yeah.
Just a minute. Then he said the blocks, the build, the public sector is fundamentally from the root, family. before society, then public. Most of us, our parents as guardians, do not know the consequences of our modeling to the next generation. Correcting anything comes from us as parents and guardians. The biggest question is, how much do we know and what are we nurturing?
Okay, we'll answer that question. Well, let me take from Ibadan, I believe. David from Ibadan.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for
Good
calling.
evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, I just want to reiterate what Uchi said before about not eating meat. I've thought about it before. If you know how many people have died in the course of those cows being brought down to Lagos and the rest, you know you are eating people's blood. So if we can boycott it, I mean, some white men will not do that. They will abstain from the meat. If we stop eating the meat as a protest, then they will know that we are serious about it. We are eating blood. Many people have died, many people have been killed, just so that we can just eat fried meat. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I mean, him painting the picture like that.
It's very graphic.
Gory,
and you
yes.
think about it. I mean, I'm like, it's meat. We can just stop.
We can do without it.
I wanted to quickly take this comment that came directly to me. It says, corruption cannot be eliminated totally in any society, but it can be kept to the barest minimum with solid institutions that act as checks and balances, that are firm on the law and not a respecter of persons. Also, corruption occurs when official privileges occur. People are not aware of what is obtainable or are willing to circumvent the rules to get what they want. So the officials are in a position to exploit. The solution is in grooming the upcoming ones, and the laws are implemented firmly. I thought that was just quite well-rounded because, I mean, the problems...
But you see, this your upcoming generation is what I'm afraid of now, because the upcoming generation, we are already grooming them, you know, to understand. I mean, because they are used to it now. It's not even something that, you know, before when you want to cheat in the exam, you would hide.
War against indiscipline. We were around.
Do you understand? Yes. You don't even get my point. In exam hall, you would hide. If your parents heard that you cheated in the exam and they caught you, it's problem. Now, it is the parents that are paying. Haba. Let me take Sam from Abuja. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say, please. You're live. Sam, are you there? Did we lose him? Okay, I think we lost him. There. Okay, so I mean, I was going to say to Benson's question, the biggest question is how much do we know, and what are we nurturing? Because it's still going back to, you know, what exactly? Because we are nurturing the children right now. We are grooming them. We're grooming them to know that it's okay to offer bribes, to go and pay a teacher, to threaten a teacher, to say, you know what, if my child does not pass this thing, you are in trouble. So tomorrow. Now, some schools will give the rules. This I know, that some schools will give a rule and say, you know what, no teacher can do private lessons. Parents will still go behind and call the same teacher to come and do private lessons in a class. Why won't the child pass? Let me take Sam from Abuja. This thing is becoming annoying. My blood is getting hot.
I feel you.
Sam, are you there? Hello?
Yes.
Go ahead, let's hear you. You're live.
Yes. You see, there's no truth in us. There's no truth in us. Our leaders, when they say A, they'll be doing B. When they say C, they'll be doing G. There's no truth in us. In federal government South Africa, set properly, in education setup, what are they doing there? It's exam. Everybody should enroll with a handset, to go with a handset, whatever. At the time that those in the village, how do they go to enroll with handset? Is there any truth in that form? The people, how are they going to write their own exam? When you come to immigration, look at immigration today. Immigration setup. Passport is how much? How much is that passport? Official rate in passport?
Sam.
Ask.
I just did passport, so I paid official rate to Sam.
You go to a immigration officer, they will tell you passport is it is well with us.
Thank you,
Sam.
Sam.
We learn to speak the truth from home. And our fathers that is our head, none of them, they are liars. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. But I said it on Tuesday, just I didn't want to bring up immigration matter. Honestly, I paid official rate. It's the first time in history, but I paid official
Is
rate.
it out?
And it's not about out. There's a process for it. There's a structure. There's a backlog.
That's too rangy.
But let me say something. I was going to say about this exam malpractice, because I was just having a conversation with my sister. She's a teacher in France. And she's currently overseeing, invigilating the exam, like our equivalent of WAEC.
Okay.
And she said when they gave her the rules to read, and she was reading it out, because you have to read it out to the students. So they don't say, oh, I didn't hear.
We don't know.
Do you know that if you are caught cheating, you are going to spend 5 years? You can never write that exam. So it's almost like your life.
It's gone.
Look at that 5 years that you'd have finished your university degree. 5 whole years before you can write that exam again.
Wow.
And that rule is very strong, strict. So I think, I don't know, do we even have such rules like that? And how do we even implement it that somebody will not go behind and go and beg?
See, our problem is all about
So
implementation.
Uti, I think I want to go back to what Lami said. There's no end in sight. Lami.
No, we have rules. Or if it's rules,
we have rules. It's implementation.
When we talk about rules,
That's the enforcement.
When we talk about rules, as the problem, when Twitter happened, we are going to prosecute. Then you think about it, shall we be able to prosecute? On what basis shall we prosecute? And then we backpedal. So the reality of it is rules are not the problem. I'm sure, I don't know what the official rate is for passport.
I know
most people don't know.
Yes.
Because we've normalized the alternative.
Oh, yes.
This question Lam is asking is very real. I'm tracking. When that passport comes out, let's see. Let's see.
So until you do it yourself.
Yeah. So the reality of it is, I don't know that it's a problem of rules. We don't have the checks in place. There are no consequences. And without consequences, look at children. Without consequences, that's it.
Let me take a final call. Suleiman from Bauchi. There's no end inside. And I'll hear your final thoughts, ladies. Gather your thoughts. Suleiman, are you there? Let's hear what you have to say. Go ahead.
Yes, people did jam and the I think we should praise the in case of fighting.
Can you hear?
Can hear him.
Suleiman, your line is muffled. Sorry, I can't hear.
The one working in jam, the head of jam.
Yes, head of jam.
Yeah, you can see who is doing his jam. Joint admission participation for.
Oh, sugar, I'm struggling to hear
you. It's fighting against malpracticing jam exam.
Okay.
So I think we should encourage people like that.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you said the head of jam currently is fighting against malpractice in jam.
Yeah, malpractice. All the new system is put in there. But you have to have identity. This identity in the right job. So that will entail impersonation.
Okay. I struggle to hear what he said, but I think he's trying to prefer a solution against malpractice. But let me hear your final thoughts. Isi, I'll come to you first.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, basically, I'm looking at us, working on our mindset and working on the mindset of the younger ones. Because it's so important for a better future, better tomorrow. And accountability is it plays a huge role in Nigeria today. But because we haven't, taken it into cognizance, we haven't enforced it, like Uti said. We haven't enforced it. The moment we start to enforce our laws, and
we will get there.
And we'll get there.
We have run out of time.
Oops, there it is.
Before we go, just follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. I think we're going to bring this conversation some other time. Please drop your comments and follow us. And in case you missed today's quote, here it is again. That's from Mark. What's his name again? Mark Twain. No country can be well governed unless its citizens as a body keep religiously before their minds that they are guardians of the law and that the law officers are only machineries for its execution, so nothing more. We'll see you live tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Thank you.